Welcome to the Economy Magazine. I'm Binyamin. Tjong-Alvares with the top report. Coming up, entrepreneurship in Israel gets a welcome boost, and Chinese investment in Africa is not a blessing for all. First, the headlines. Activity in Europe's services and manufacturing industries rose by more than expected in March, reinforcing hopes of a turnaround in the Eurozone. The composite Eurozone Purchasing Managers Index rose to 54.1, the highest since early 2012. The improvement provides welcome news as the EU awaits signs that the ECB's quantitative easing is stimulating the real economy. But for now, unemployment remains at 11.2%. And according to ECB projections, 1 in 10 workers will remain unemployed even after the full effects of the bond buying program have rippled through the economy. European Central Bank Chief Mario Draghi expressed cautious optimism about Greece, but urged Athens to honor its debts. Draghi said Greece might be able to benefit from ECB money printing and get normal access to central bank funds. But German Chancellor Angela Merkel and Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras remained vague at a Berlin summit on how to prevent Athens from running out of money. And Draghi was careful to temper his optimism with a stern warning Athens should focus on honoring its debt to restore the confidence of its creditors.
Greece and its international partners should now focus on setting the conditions for a successful conclusion of the review. I think that's the most important part. And the government of Greece should commit to fully honor its debt obligations to all its creditors and to premise all future policies on this commitment.
China's economy might be slowing down further as an indicator of factory activity this month fell to an 11-month low. The preliminary HSBC China Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index fell to 49.2 in March, slipping below the key 50 level that separates expansion from contraction. New orders, employment and prices all weakened in the manufacturing sector as fourth quarter weakness extended into the beginning of this new year. And as factory activity weakens, it is likely to increase pressure on Beijing to step up efforts to boost economic growth. The United States will continue funding Afghan security forces and extended a financial commitment that has cost about $4 billion annually. The U.S. said it would prolong funding at the targeted peak personnel level of 352,000, at least through the 2017 fiscal year. Record numbers of Afghan security forces and civilians died last year in the fight against the Taliban, and Afghan President Ashraf Ghani projected a tough spring fighting season. Officials also announced the resumption of regular high-level diplomatic and defense talks, as well as Afghan development funding.
Simultaneously, I'd like to express appreciation to Secretary Carter for announcing support for the 2017, for requesting 2017 budget support at the current numbers. This is a major statement of support.
Israel's startup culture continues to buzz. In 2014, Israeli high-tech companies raised a record $3.4 billion of capital, of which $2.4 billion came from venture capital investors. The Hive by Gvahim, a 6-month accelerator for international entrepreneurs funded by the Rashi Foundation, is directly involved in supporting starting entrepreneurs. Shelby Weiner brings us the story.
12 startups, 6 judges, 3 countries, and $100,000 of seed money were all a part of the Hive by Gvahim's entrepreneurship competition. Many diverse startup companies were brought together from Israel, Turkey, and Japan to pitch their business plans and encourage international networking.
This event is meant to create bridges through entrepreneurship to all these countries.
The competition was hosted by the Hive by Gvahim, an Israeli-based group that works with new business owners and startup companies.
We usually do this event on our own, the Hive by Gvahim. We are a startup accelerator for Olim entrepreneurs, for new immigrants entrepreneurs coming from all over the world. And it means that we are a very international accelerator.
This time around, the competition included foreign startup accelerators and investors, which helped create opportunities for everyone involved.
In my opinion, I think Israel can teach a lot in terms of entrepreneurship to Turkey, because we are just starting it, and Israel has been doing it for decades.
The atmosphere of the event was positive and optimistic. Many of the competitors were excited about the competition being located in Israel, a country well known for its startups. The evening's winners, an app for urban dog owners, found Tel Aviv to be a great city to start in.
Tel Aviv is the startup capital, and we're also very fortunate, as I'm sure you know, it's one of the dog-friendliest cities in the world, and that's why we were so happy to launch it here. And hopefully the next stage will be taking it to the US and expanding to other markets.
Doggies has already successfully launched a beta product in Israel. And now, after winning the investment money, the company plans to improve their app and expand globally. Their story is one of many international startups beginning in the Israeli market.
And for more on what is new and happening in the startup nation, we're joined now by Channel 2 reporter Noah Olon. Ms. Iran, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
So what is new and happening?
Okay, so last time I was here, I told you about a new program that teaches kids in Israel how to code. Well, this week I visited a school in Petah Tikva, and some 9 and 10-year-olds actually taught me some new concepts in coding that I did not know.
Interesting.
Yeah, and this is thanks to a game called Code Monkey. That's also the name of the company. It's a game that teaches children to code and actually teaches them the language of coding. And in each level, it has 90 levels. In each level, you basically have to bring the monkey to the banana. It sounds very simple, but you actually have to tell the monkey how to do it in every level. And as you can see, there are different obstacles. Sometimes you would have a bridge, sometimes you would have a crocodile, sometimes you would have to put the monkey on a turtle and make it move, and you have to tell it exactly what to do, how to turn, and in which angle, and how far it should walk.
What is the difference between this and a regular game?
So in a regular game, you would just, grab the monkey and use your mouse. But in this game, the monkey cannot move unless you code it to do so. So you have to tell it how to turn, or maybe even create a loop, which is one of the concepts of coding, and tell several things on the screen to move at the same time, so the monkey could actually get to the banana. And this is implemented already in 300 schools in Israel. It's going to be in 2,000 schools by the end of the year. That's in Israel. There was also a trial at the Berkeley School District in California, and the company is moving on. They're actually at the seed phase right now. They're looking for $1 million seed funding in order to continue doing this. And this is, it's very cool.
Absolutely. What level are we talking about? What grade level?
A
lot of this is also in English. Presumably we're talking about kids who are a little bit older who already know how to use English also.
Yeah. So, if you, they also use this game for 14-year-olds, so they can actually understand everything. But the 10-year-olds understand English. English is very simple. For example, turn, or monkey, or crocodile. So the kids also learn the language and learn how to use the angles.
At the same time.
So yeah, and it's very cool. And it's also, there are teachers that are kind of helping them play the game, but you have 90 levels, and you can just go on and go on. So this is one.
I'll definitely check out those monkeys. What else do we have?
So the next question I have you ever skied?
Yeah, of course. We actually used to have to go skiing in high school.
So I haven't skied, I have to admit. But if you are a ski lover, you're going to love these goggles that I'm going to tell you about. So these goggles are called Ride On. That's the name of the company. And these are goggles that actually incorporate augmented reality features within the goggles. It's very, very cool. You can actually, so you have the goggles, and you can use your eyes, just your eyes, in order to tell the goggles what to do. You can actually look at a map through these goggles and search for lifts or bars. At the resort, you can contact your friends who are skiing next to you. You can even post videos online. You can record them with the goggles and post it online.
Which company is putting this? This is Ride On.
Yeah,
right?
this is Ride On.
Are they in any way involved with Google? What is the difference between the ski goggles that we see here and say the Google glasses?
So it's very simple. It's very similar. A lot of people would say that this is the Google Glass of skiing, but they're actually I mean, they're skiing goggles. They're meant for skiing, and it's very similar. But the thing is that it also uses, I mean, it can track your eye movement, which is very, very cool, just like the Google Glass. The retail price for these goggles is $899. That's very expensive. I mean, if you consider regular goggles, you would pay $200 tops for this. But even though a lot of people have contributed to this company, they've used a crowdfunding campaign for this.
It'd be interesting to actually find more about this, but I guess we'll have to look it up online as well.
Yes, definitely.
Skiing, of course, isn't a very expensive sport. Noah Aran, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. African countries have become great beneficiaries of Chinese investment, though China's investment in Africa is less than 5% of its global total. A Chinese construction company is building what will be Guinea's biggest dam, but is forcing villagers to relocate to higher ground.
A few hours from the Ghanaian capital, Conakry, this tranquil river in the Jubreka region is about to undergo a massive change. On this site, a Chinese construction company is building what will be the country's biggest dam. Hundreds of local and Chinese labourers are working around the clock on the Coletta Dam, which will be more than a kilometre long. Abule Bangora is watching them dig up the land he used to farm.
My village hasn't been relocated. It's just the dynamiting and pollution that are bothering us. Some of our houses have got cracks, but it's not a problem. I wasn't even born when they started talking about this dam. I never thought I'd see the day it was built in my lifetime. It's a big thing.
After studying in China and Canada, civil engineer Mustafa Carlo has returned home to take part in Guinea's development. But he says the dam is only the start in the race for Guinea to become energy independent.
240 megawatts isn't enough to cover Guinea's electricity needs. It will be able to supply the capital, Conakry, the factory in Fria and a few villages in maritime Guinea.
3 villages in areas that will be flooded by the dam are going to be relocated to hills nearby. The inhabitants of Cassia will get new homes, but they are uncertain about their future quality of life.
We're happy to be able to move into new, pretty spacious and permanently built homes, but we're worried because we don't know how we're going to live there. The dam is going to flood farmland, we won't have access to the river in the new village, and the trees that the government promised us haven't been planted.
They also worry because no authorities have yet visited them to answer their concerns. But those responsible for the project say they will help the villagers once they are moved by supplying electricity and water, supporting businesses and farmers, and planting fruit trees. For Guinea's President Alpha Condé, providing a decent electricity supply to the capital for the first time since independence would prove a remarkable achievement and help win him support in October's election.
And now for a look at the stories behind the news in Media Watch. Daniel.
How's it going?
You're here.
I am here. I appeared.
And I guess you're talking about one of your favorite subjects.
Yes, unions, something we've been learning about here at I-24. This article, though, is from the Wall Street Journal. It's asking the question, why are American unions so focused on the Trans-Pacific Partnership, given that half of union members in the U.S. are government workers, another 12% are education and health, under 10% of union members in the U.S. are from agricultural and manufacturing industries, which are the ones that are really at risk from globalization. So it's a question. Most workers these days in the U.S. aren't in manufacturing. One of the big reasons for this, of course, is that manufacturing and agriculture have been seeping away from the U.S. because of deals like this. So actually, early on, it answers the question simply by asking it. These kinds of trade deals tend to siphon jobs out to less regulated markets where companies can get cheaper labor. That's the number one answer that so why are unions first of all dealing with it? Because of the history of jobs seeping out in these kind of deals. NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Act, this is a good example. Larry Summers, famed economist, says the consensus these days is that this deal basically among other things, grew inequality in the U.S. Inequality got worse because jobs got worse in the U.S.
Of course, I mean, there's the suggestion, or the, you know, if you want to say, that they're basically focusing on the comparative advantage of each country, right? I mean, if some countries are better with agriculture.
Absolutely. It's there now. So the big deal here, the thing that unions are pushing for, at least that's what the conversation is about, is fair trade deals. People don't want no trade deals. People want fair trade deals, and that's what the big battle is about.
Okay, well, I guess we'll find out more about the big battle next time. Thanks, Daniel, for joining us. And that is a wrap for us at Economy Magazine, your daily source for economic and financial reports at I24 News. I'm Binyamin Tjong-Alvares. Thanks for joining us, and do continue to watch us for more economy.